Hey, what's up? It's your boy Rawk, and you know, ever since I talked about Qumu all the way back in April, I've been going through a bit of a crisis. Did I just dream about giving a shit about Pokemon? That's the 4th time this week, and we're currently only 3 hours and 12 minutes into Tuesday! It's been a fucking disaster! So instead of seeking help, I've decided I'm going to succumb to my own bullshit and see if there's any conceivable way that I can give a shit about Pokemon. This is gonna sting.
Oh boy, Rawk's talking about Pokemon again, the biggest name in all of words. Everyone with skin knows Pokemon, and a hearty portion of that statistic consists of people who like Pokemon. Go up to anyone in the street and ask them about f***ing Diglett. If the 7 out of 10 chance that you don't get violently assaulted wins out, it'll still probably end in some pretty harsh judgment. But there's a chance that the person will still know what the f*** you're talking about. Now me personally, I've never really been able to fully get into Pokemon. I have massive amounts of respect for the franchise, and I want to get into it, but it's just never happened, unfortunately. But that changes today.
Yes, today I'm on a quest to spit in the face of 10-year-old me and fully get into Pokemon. Now where do I start? Well, I could play any one of the Switch games. Come on, if it isn't as old as me or in German, then I don't give a shit about it. Why else do you think I bought Wario World? It fits both categories! I could open Pokemon X. Are you kidding me? This bitch is factory sealed. Do you have any idea how much it would be worth? Probably not much, considering that one time I used it as a plate, but still. So, what other options do I have left? The graveyard! How long did it take archaeologists to realise this is what fossils look like?
Pokemon Snap, arguably the biggest Pokemon game on the Nintendo 64. There were hardly any Pokemon games released on this console, 4 here in Europe, 5 in the US, and 6 in Japan, none of which were mainline entries. Even though the console released right in the middle of the Pokemon boom of the 90s. What was the goal here? So yeah, the Nintendo 64 only got Pokemon spin-offs. The Pokemon Stadium games, which were like the mainline Pokemon games minus the everything. They consisted primarily of 3D Pokemon battles, which is actually pretty cool seeing these characters in glorious N64 3D so early on. There was Hey You Pikachu, which saw you talking to Pikachu with a Nintendo 64 microphone accessory, and he would respond by doing what you told him to.
Gotcha! And
then finally we have Pokemon Snap, initially developed as a game called Jack and Beans, where you took photos of whatever the f*** you felt like. The late Satoru Iwata noted that there was no real motivation for playing the game and taking these pictures, so a prototype was developed with Pokemon. This prototype saw vastly better reception than Jack and Beans, and was eventually released as Pokemon Snap. There was also Pokemon Puzzle League, which is way less so Pokemon and way more so Puzzle League. Pokemon Snap opens up on our protagonist, Todd Snap, as he's taking pictures of trees like a normal person.
What are you doing with your life?
Suddenly,
it's bubblegum!
He sees a mysterious entity with a tail, and our game begins. Professor Oak is here now.
Because fuck you, that's why.
Professor Oak tasks us with taking the best pictures we can of all of the Pokemon on Pokemon Island. I wonder how they came up with that name.
So, what are we gonna name this island? Well, it has Pokemon on it, and... Say no more, you beautiful bastard!
So the basic gameplay of Pokemon Snap sees us running through these levels in this space buggy looking thing, and taking pictures of Pokemon in their natural habitat. While this doesn't sound like the most compelling thing ever, it's actually really fun. Much like with Pokemon Wii, we get to see the Pokemon in their natural states. And that's honestly so engaging for me. That's the main reason why Pokepark Wii is one of my favourite games of all time. It's a very rare chance to see Pokemon not beating the f*** out of each other in these beautifully designed big open worlds. Speaking of big open worlds, Pokemon Snap has 7 locations for us to explore. As previously mentioned, we roam around in this space buggy, and it's on rails, meaning the levels are in no way open. They're all fairly linear affairs, but there are a few instances where you can go off the beaten path to unlock brand new levels. Name me a greater pleasure, I dare you.
Before we talk about the levels, I think it's important to set the scene by talking about Professor Oak and all of his weird contraptions. This guy is a fucking weirdo.
Throughout the course of the game, Professor Oak gives you new tools to enhance your Pokemon picture-taking experience, and almost all of them are used to unlock alternate routes that lead to new levels. First we have apples, which you can throw at Pokemon to do a number of things. If the apple lands near a Pokemon, it'll grab their attention and they'll run towards it, which in some cases can lead to special encounters such as Surfboard Pikachu or Charmander getting fucking cremated.
This can lead to some really funny interactions, but none are as funny as knocking Pokemon the fuck out.
Please let it be known that Rawk doesn't condone animal abuse in any way, shape or form, but also this is a kid's game starring vaguely animal-like creatures with magical powers, so don't overthink it, and also...
Yeah, okay, that's enough, thank you.
Throwing the apples directly at a Pokemon causes the Pokemon to be stunned, which has different effects on different Pokemon. Electrode, for example, he straight up dies. Remember this. There's also an instance where you can save a Jigglypuff from a coughing by hitting that fucker with an apple. The second ability it gives you is the Pester Ball, which is another throwable item. According to Bulbapedia, this ball releases noxious Pokemon repellent that can knock out or stun Pokemon.
Oh, so Oak is a professor of being a dick to Pokemon. Got it.
Again, let it be known that Rawk in no way condones animal abuse.
Yeah, no shit. With the amount of flies that I haven't killed, I'm basically a saint to animals.
You're a fucking idiot.
For a Pokemon professor who enjoys the study of the regular day-to-day activities of wild Pokemon, this guy sure loves to fuck with them. This item has a damn near identical effect on most Pokemon, other than a few special cases, such as Vileplume who is woken up by the gas. You can also throw them into this whirlpool to make Dragonite appear because fuck logic. Next up we have the Pokeflute, which allows you to play a song to either make Pokemon dance or wake the fuck up. This one doesn't really have that much utility, but it's interesting to see how each of the Pokemon react. The last upgrade boils down to nothing more than a speed boost.
You see, I would give a shit about that, but I've lost my shit giving shirt, so for now, woo.
Now that we've got that out of the way, let's finally talk about the levels. These are some disgustingly generic names. The beach is the first course, and get this, it's a beach. Actually, this level consists mostly of cliffs. The first chunk of the level, undeniably a beach. Sand is everywhere, but then afterwards, it's mostly grass and hills. Don't get me wrong, it's still a really cool level, and an even better first level for this game in particular. I just feel like the name is kind of misleading. But then again, so is Microsoft. This fucking thing isn't micro or soft. This level introduces us to Pokemon that require continuous interaction to get good photos of, namely Lapras, Pokemon who need items for good photos, and Pokemon that Oak is too fucking stupid to identify. Like, come on, what is this?
A clam! A sofa! My brain? But it's smooth!
All of the levels in the game are fairly linear affairs. The beach is the definition of a linear affair. It's pretty much a straight line, but as a starting level in this game, I really enjoy it. There's a decent variety of Pokemon, and there's also a good amount that basically require the later items in the game, which gives for good incentive to return to this level multiple times through, which in itself is really enjoyable. The second level is the tunnel, which mostly takes place underground. This isn't a tunnel, this is a bunch of bullshit! This one's really interesting, as it consists of many different segments, each with a bucket load of things to interact with. It's pretty easy to miss certain things if you fixate on one particular Pokemon for too long, and this one definitely warrants multiple playthroughs. It also requires multiple playthroughs because there's a secret exit that you can only access your second time through. We throw an apple at this here Electrode and...
That has happened far too many times today.
This level also has more proof that Oak is a buffoon. The Magnemites scream at the camera when you try to take a picture of them, but don't lie, that's still a Magnemite. But this floating purple ball of ambiguity? A Haunter! Of course it is, try harder next time, stupid. But hey, this level is really fun. You smack the Electabuzz and he turns on the TV, you can't stop to watch it, curses. Next up we have the volcano. How the hell do we survive this? Here we have a lot of fire-type Pokemon. Believe it or not, ice-type Pokemon didn't make the cut. The path itself is still fairly linear, but either side of the path over a molten moat, there are Pokemon to interact with, such as by... and... oh Jesus. We can urge Charmander to bring in an infestation! This level also introduces us to the legendary eggs. Sure, there was one in the tunnel, but this is the first time that we can actually interact with them. You have to progress in the goddamn level. Hitting this giant heavy egg with a dinky fucking apple causes it to fall into the lava, releasing mold trays. At the end of the level, there's also a Charmeleon and a big pool of lava, and the only reasonable thing to do is...
surely this will have no consequences. Oh, fuck!
Next up we have the river. Not doing much for me. I don't know, this level just isn't the most appealing to me, but it's still really fun. I think it's mostly visually where it doesn't appeal to me. Through the vines we can see a load of Poliwags, and if we harass these logs long enough, well, allow me to introduce you to my husband.
We have a special bond.
This is where the Vileplume I mentioned before lives, and we can make it do its mating ritual. Also, let it be known that you can drown a Psyduck.
Shit, I need another N64.
If we held enough fruit and balls at this cliff, then a polygon covered in shit comes out and hits this button for us so we can access the next level. I'm going to be saying that exact same thing on my wedding night. Next up we have the cave, and unlike the tunnel, this level actually earns its name. Take notes, bitch. This level breaks the conventions set by the rest of the game, as we flip this axis on its head and start the level going fully vertical. You wake up thinking you'll only need the x-axis, only to end up getting catfished by the cave. As we descend, we have Grimace on the left, and a Bulbasaur on the right, and...
What did they do to you?
if we hit him with a Pester Ball, he melts. This level... honestly isn't the most interesting. There's just not a great deal going on. I mean, yeah, you can drown the fucking Weeping Bell to make it evolve. Where have I seen that one before? And there's a Jinx cult performing their egg dance ritual. Yay! They're surrounding an egg that God only knows what's inside. It's Articuno. Wait a minute. I knew I'd seen these two before.
You son of a bitch plagiarist!
I will admit though, this part at the end with the Jigglypuff singing, really neat callback to the show. I really like it, and if you're cool enough, you can see 2 Jigglypuffs. If you're cool enough. Big if. Now you may remember me saying the tunnel housed the 3rd legendary egg, and... yeah, it still does. Difference is we have to play through the level multiple times in order to hatch the egg. Oak just really wants you to be disappointed. So if we head back to the tunnel, we can find the egg, which is... hidden somewhere in the level.
Oh, I wonder what's inside. Fuck, I never would have guessed!
Finally, for the standard levels, we have the Valley, and I really like this one. Most of the level is like a goddamn roller coaster where you need to be quick trying to get good shots of the Pokemon either side. There's like 1, maybe 2 to push. Still really enjoyable. This level's honestly a little bit plain, but I just can't help but love it. It's probably my favourite level in the game. I don't know why, I don't know how, let's just accept it and move on with our lives. I mean, in all fairness, this level allows you to... and... which isn't something every level can say, that's right, f*** you, tunnel! In order to reach the secret exit, we turn Mankey into a space hopper. We ride down a waterfall and find Oak in a log cabin because that's exactly what this game needed.
You see, I didn't give a shit about this game until I found out about this feature.
Oak has discovered that in order to access the final stage, we must investigate the 6 Pokemon signs hidden throughout all of the levels. All you do is take pictures of them, and some of them are really obvious, like holy shit, where could it be? Others are pretty unique and interesting, and others... bullshit, they're bullshit.
Once we track them all down, we go to space, because honestly, where the f*** else would we go?
Up on the Rainbow Cloud, we find the Pokemon that initiated this entire adventure in the first place. And what do?
Beat the f*** out of it!
You're a jackass.
That's right, we take Mew, the mythical creature that we've worked so hard to find, and just abuse it. We relentlessly throw apples and pester balls at it, breaking its glass force field thing. Also, we can get a picture of it that Oak doesn't even end up f***ing liking. Yep, we've put it off long enough. But there's no escaping it now. Professor Oak grades all of your photos based on certain criteria, and sometimes his ratings make no goddamn sense. He grades your pictures on a number of criteria, namely being size. How much of the frame is filled by the Pokemon in question? There's definitely a sweet spot for this, but Christ, it's strict! If the frame is a few pixels too full or too empty, Oak basically tells you to go f*** yourself. You were close, but not close enough, bitch. Pose. I have no f***ing idea. Like, yeah, it obviously relates to what pose the Pokemon is in, but what Oak wants is completely inconsistent. Does he want the Pokemon in a neutral pose? Does he want the Pokemon in a more dynamic or interesting pose? Does he want you to go f*** yourself?
Oh, I pick only one!
Technique. This basically just means how centered the Pokemon is, and this is by far the most lenient of the point categories. So many times I took photos that were ridiculously off-centered, but Oak still decided to give me the highest point bonus. Like, I'm not complaining about getting a higher score, but you know what? I kind of am.
Consistency is a myth, get over it.
Same Pokemon, which rewards you extra points if there's more than one of the Pokemon you snapped in the picture. If you take a picture of Charmander and there's more than one of them there, you can bet your ass you'll get some bonus points.
Because f*** you, you deserve them.
And finally, special. This mostly applies to Pikachu, because Oak just loves to see them doing all kinds of wacky shit. A Pikachu on a stump? He loves it! A Pikachu on a surfboard? Greatest thing he's ever seen. A Pikachu on the moon placing the Pokemon Island national flag?
Could be better. And
this pretty much sums up Oak's ratings of the pictures. His judgment is completely all over the place. He gives good ratings to awful pictures and terrible ratings to fucking incredible pictures. And it's hilarious! Sure, it can be annoying to get a dog shit score on a picture you were proud of, but it can also be incredibly funny to see how f***ed Oak's judgment is. The last thing to talk about is the presentation. It's a f***ing N64 game. Graphically, yep, it sure is on the N64. Sound design is actually really good though. The music is all incredibly nice and really fitting. And the Pokemon cries work incredibly well.
Overall, I'd say Pokemon Snap is definitely one of the better Pokemon games I've played. I've played 2. But hey, colour me intrigued. Maybe I can get into Pokemon after all. But I still can't find my shit-giving shirt, so this just isn't doing anything for me. I found it!